Hey guys, it's Will, and in this video, I want to talk to you about how to create great course content. So let's start with step one, which is all about the MVP, which is, if you've never heard of that, you don't know what it means. It's minimum viable product. Okay. Now, you start with an MVP for the following reasons. Number one, it's easy and fast to make, much faster than building a full on incredible, breathtaking product. It's also not possible to know exactly what people will actually want before you get buyer feedback. Okay, that's why it's important to just start with an MVP, sell a few people in, then go and make it better. Okay, and also, it's not actually possible to know if your course is even going to sell, right? Now, if you're working with me, it's almost a certainty that it's going to sell because I know what I'm doing after doing this for so many years now, almost 10 years in this whole online course, online education space, so I'm pretty good at kind of knowing what works, but there's no guarantees, so you don't want to go and create the world's best product and then it doesn't even sell. So you've just got to make it good enough, right? So that is why you don't go and build an amazing product straight away. You just get an MVP done first, right? Now, how do you actually build an MVP? Consider one of these two options, right? So which one you pick of these two is going to really depend on kind of your industry, right? Now, I'll explain more in a minute. But there's two options when it comes to creating course content. Number one is grab a whiteboard and just use Loom, right? And if you don't know what Loom is, it's a screen recorder like the one that I'm using now. And then there's a little circle down here of a camera of your face whilst you're making the video, if you want that there. I don't use the camera. And it just records your screen. Like, that's literally exactly what I use to make these videos, by the way. So all you're going to do is grab an online whiteboard, open a Loom account, click record, and just draw, right? So it might be like video one, all about advertising, and you're just going to draw like, right, so guys, video one is all about ads, right? The word ads. Now, when it comes to ads, we're going to follow a script, this. Now, let me show you, draw the ad and blah, blah, blah. And you're just going to do it as if you were stood in front of a whiteboard, right? Now, in regards to video length, they're going to be as long as they need to be to convey the point, right? So if you can get something across, like let's stick with the ads example, right? If you can teach an ads video in 4 minutes, then teach it in 4 minutes. If it needs to be 20 minutes, then it's going to be 20 minutes. Don't worry about that, okay? Keep it as short as you can, but if it needs to be a certain amount of time, then that's okay. That's completely fine, right? What's important is just to get the knowledge across. And then after you've recorded, you just save the video, and you go and create a Podia account. And then you're going to put your course inside Podia. And this is basically the best, fastest, cheapest online course platform that there is. We use this, and it's actually really good. It's awesome. We've used this for years. And then you're done. Okay? So really, really simple. So that's one way to go. Now, another way to go is just to make slides inside Keynote, PowerPoint, whatever, and just do a voiceover. This is what I have done in the past. When I built the trading education program, I've always done slides with the voiceover. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'll show you an example. And to do this, it's really simple. You just open Keynote, create your slides. When your slides are done, again, you record your screen whilst you're viewing the slides, and you go through them and you just talk over them, basically, to create a presentation. You save it, and again, you put it inside Podia, right? Now, when you're editing the video together, so you've got your screen recording as one file, you've got your voiceover as another file, right? I would suggest putting an intro montage in there, having a here's what we'll cover slide, then get into the lesson, right? And if you're feeling professional, add in some graphics and shapes as well. So let me just show you an example of a slides video, right? Oh, and in fact, before I do that, let me just explain what I said earlier about industry. Now, if you're in, let's say, the business space, it's less important. The slides don't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to look great, because people just want to know what to do. Like take this program that you're going through right now. You don't care about some massive, big, fucking fancy presentation with colors and pictures and shit. You just want to know, Will, how do I make ads? How do I write an offer? How do I do a reoffer? How do I build great course content? And that's what I do. I just tell you exactly what to do. No BS, right? So if you're in an industry like business, this is a great way to go. If you're selling to like, other business people or other entrepreneurs or something like that, or sales, for example, I would do Whiteboard and Loom to begin with, and then you might want to do slides later for your second or third version. Or if you're in more of a kind of normal person industry, so you're teaching like, everyday people how to trade or do drop shipping or, fitness, for example, you probably want to go with slides, right? Now, let me give you an example of this. Okay. And bear in mind that this is like version 5 of this program. So it wasn't quite this big or good when I first made this stuff. But yeah, let me just give you an example. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to see is the montage. That's not playing properly. Let me just grab a different video. So that's it, right? So the start of the video, you just got kind of a little intro montage, looks cool, has some cool music, and it just adds kind of it just looks professional, right? So you have that. Then we get into the video. Now, what I like to do is I like to have like a picture slide like this, and then text over the top of it, right? And again, it's just a nice professional way to start the video, and it just looks, it looks like aesthetically pleasing, blah blah blah. Then we get into the here's what we're going to cover slide. So here, all you do is, just say, right, here's what we're going to cover. The first thing we're going to cover is X, and in this part, we're going to help you do Y, and we're going to do blah 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 blah. Now, in the second section, we're going to discuss A, and we're basically going to talk about B, and blah 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 blah. So you say that, right? And then after that, you just get into the teaching. So then again, when it comes to diving into the first section, I do another picture slide and I just put the name of the section, and then we get into the teaching. And then that's it. We get into the teaching. And what I personally like to do is actually write out the script of what I'm going to say. And I also add in some little graphics as well along the way, just to kind of keep it interesting. And again, it just looks kind of aesthetically pleasing just to have it, nice and laid out. Some graphics on there as well. We've got our branding across the bottom, which again, it just makes it look that little bit more professional as well. And then that's it. So it's just the slides. I make them inside Keynote. I just design them myself, by the way. And then all you need to do is just literally record your screen, go through the presentation, record your voiceover, and you're good to go. It's really, really that simple. Okay, guys? Now, let's talk about what to actually put in the program, right? So your MVP, it just needs to be good enough to get a customer the desired result, right? And no better than that to start with. And the reason for that is because you're then going to use customer feedback to iterate on the product. So, eventually, after 2-3 months, you'll then make the proper version 2. And you might make the videos better quality, make them more in depth, make them longer, get a better microphone, hire a slide designer. You might even add in extra little mini courses inside there on subjects that customers get stuck on, and so on and so forth. And your customers are going to help you create your version 2 after a few months, 2, 3, 4 months, right? Now, one tip that I want to give you is to use group calls to see what questions customers ask and what feedback they give you, and then use that intel to add to the product. So eventually your course should be so good that there are barely any questions coming up on the group calls because everything's covered in the training itself, right? And then if you like, you can actually stop the group calls. So when your product is amazing and it doesn't even really need group calls, you can actually stop them if you want to. It's still nice to have them, but you can stop them if you want to. Now, when it comes to laying out the content, I always suggest starting with a welcome and congratulations video. And you can see ours here. Welcome and congratulations, first video in the program. And in that video, you just basically make them feel good, make them feel awesome for buying, start them off on the right foot, and you're just going to do some basic stuff. So walk them through what's to come, tell them about the group coaching, give them the Zoom link, send them to sign your contract if you have one, and just generally reaffirm that they've made an awesome decision, right? So in our welcome video, we've got the contract that they've got to sign down here, okay? We've got the Zoom link for the weekly group call. We tell them when it actually takes place so that they know that. And we've got the recordings of all of the past calls that they can go and watch as well. So as you can see, we started these in April 2021, and all of the calls are in here for people to watch back, and they're all dated as well. So it's pretty cool because you actually build up a massive archive of group calls. It's really awesome. And that in itself is very valuable, so that's that. Now from there, okay, you can either have named sections that cover what needs to be covered. So for example, like a workout section, a nutrition section, blah, blah, blah. And you can have videos in that section. Or you can basically use weeks or days, right? So for example, week 1, all about funnels. Week 2, all about advertising. Week 3, all about writing ads, blah, blah, blah. And again, I'll just give you a quick example of this. So we use a mixture. So we've got days here. So day 1, all about mindset and understanding. And then there's 6 videos in there. Then we've got a student case studies section. So just interviews with some of our best clients. We've also got a beginners section up here for anyone that's a complete beginner. Day 2 is all about framework and structure. So you've got all these videos in here that cover everything to do with framework and structure. Then we get into the strategy sections down here. So we've got all the videos on the strategy itself. Then we've got a recording from a Q&A call that was all about that strategy. Then we've got a cheat sheet on how to use it and get up to speed with it as fast as possible. Then we've got some trade records down here that people can go over and actually see the trades before they start trading. And we've got market maps down here that just basically show the trade setups in the markets themselves, basically. And then we repeat that for every strategy. So again, strategy videos, Q&A, cheat sheet, trade record, market maps. And we've also got some mini courses in there as well. So we've got a mini course here all about prop firm funding. And then we've got a mini course down here on trading psychology. We've got a resources section at the bottom. And, this is a very, very, very in-depth education program. And just keep in mind, I've built this across 6 years, so it didn't start out like this. And now that we're at this stage, this is honestly one of the best fucking trading programs on planet Earth. This is one of the best built, best education, best support. Everything is in here that you could ever possibly need. There's mini courses in there as well. Like, this thing is a beast. You know, this thing is one of the best fucking trading courses in the world today. But it didn't start out like that. You know, bear in mind, we've had like 5,000 customers now over almost 7 years. So this is not an MVP. This is like a version 5 or 6. So just keep that in mind. But with that said, guys, that's everything that you need to know, okay, when it comes to creating great course content. Copy that. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, just ask. And I'll see you in the next video soon.